Hello everyone. In today's class, we're going to learn about endocrine system, and this is very important system from the NCLEX point of view. So in every system, we're going to start learning, like first of all, we're going to learn about the basic anatomy and physiology. What does that system do? And second are some diagnostic tests that are being used to identify the problems. And the third one is the disorders and the diseases regarding related to that particular system. So let's start. So endocrine anatomy and physiology. So endocrine is one of the system in adult health that works with hormones. It basically comprises of organs and glands that secretes hormones. So the most important thing that we need to keep in our mind for our NCLEX exam are hormones. Which gland secrete which hormone? If that gland secrete that hormone in increased amount, what will happen and what is the basic term for that? And if it will release in the decreased amount, so what will happen that time? So basically we're going to learn about this thing. So these are the glands. If you're going to see hypothalamus, H for hypothalamus and H for headmaster. So sometimes hypothalamus is also known as headmaster gland. Why it is known as headmaster gland? Because it secretes some regulatory hormones that basically regulates the other glands hormones. So the key hormones that are released by hypothalamus are, for example, ADH, oxytocin. So these releasing hormones, these releasing hormone, whenever you're gonna get the point, the term releasing hormones, so always keep in mind that it gonna be secreted by hypothalamus gland, and that hypothalamus gland is the headmaster gland. So the function, it links with nervous and endocrine system, and as I have told you that this is headmaster gland, so it ultimately gonna control the master gland, and that master gland is second one, pituitary gland. Yes. Next, we're going to talk about pituitary gland, second gland. So pituitary gland is also known as master gland. It basically going to secrete, like if you're going to see, there are two things I have mentioned here in the PPT, anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. So the anterior is the anterior part, the front part. Posterior is the back portion of that particular gland. So suppose if this is pituitary, so this is the anterior portion and this is the posterior portion. Okay. So the anterior pituitary secretes growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, not releasing, stimulating hormone, adenocorticotropic thyroid hormone ACTH, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, and prolactin. So basically, the question arises, ma'am, how are we gonna remember it? So don't worry about it. The way the step by step, if we're gonna start reading towards the problems, towards the diseases regarding to these glands, you're gonna remember it. Don't worry. So, first hypothalamus, headmaster gland, it secretes releasing hormones, and it is somewhere related to nervous and endocrine system, and the basic function is controlling the pituitary gland. Second one is pituitary gland, that is master gland. Master gland secretes growth hormone, the again posterior and anterior. Anterior portion gonna secrete growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, ACTH, follicle stimulating hormone, LH, luteinizing hormone, and prolactin. The function of anterior pituitary, all the functions are related to the respective hormone. For example, growth hormone, as the name suggests, growth means it gonna help in the growth. Yes. If the anterior pituitary gonna increase the growth hormone, what will happen? And if the anterior pituitary gonna release the growth hormone into very adequate amount, what will happen? So there are two situations, either increase or decrease. So that we gonna discuss later on. This is the basic part. We are somewhere understanding the basic fundamental of endocrine. Yes. So the anterior pituitary, all the growth hormone, TSH, FSH, LH, prolactin. So according to the hormone, it gonna function. Like growth hormone gonna help in growth. Yes, thyroid stimulating hormone. As the name suggests, it gonna stimulate the thyroid. Yes, it gonna stimulate the thyroid. For example, if your thyroid starts working in inadequate amount, yes, so it's gonna increase. Why? Because it's gonna push the thyroid. That body needs thyroid hormone. Please release thyroid hormone. So it is stimulating hormone. It's gonna stimulate thyroid. Yes. So the third one is posterior pituitary. Now we're gonna talk about the posterior part, the back portion. Yes. So posterior portion releases two hormone, ADH, antidiuretic hormone, and oxytocin. First one, the front part releases so many hormones, but the back portion of pituitary only release two hormone, ADH, antidiuretic hormone. For now, you just remember the name, antidiuretic hormone, which is also known as vasopressin and oxytocin. Yes. So again, the functions is according to the respective hormone. For example, antidiuretic hormone. As the name suggests, diuresis means di plus urasis, increasing the amount of urine. If I'll put anti in front of diuresis, antidiuretic hormone means it is a hormone that is opposite to diuresis. It gonna stop the urination and it gonna hold the urination into the body. Yes, if it is difficult for you to remember, just remember the basic trick, ADH. ADH somewhere related to add. So it's gonna add the water. It's gonna retain the water into the body. Yes, and the urine will be reduced. The output, urine output will be reduced if ADH is there. You got it? Antidiuretic hormone is opposite to diuresis. Antidiuresis. So don't worry. Just remember the name, break the name, and get the meaning of that particular hormone. Antidiuretic hormone. And oxytocin hormone. Again, it helps in uterine contraction. You must have read in gynae and ops, and milk letdown also you can say. Next is thyroid. Thyroid, first we have learned in pituitary. Which pituitary? Anterior pituitary, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Now we are talking about the thyroid hormones. So, thyroid is the gland which basically secretes three hormones, T3, T4, and calcitonin. T3, T4, and calcitonin. And the function, if we're going to talk about, see, T3, T4 gonna help in thyroid metabolism, and the calcitonin gonna help in lower the serum calcium. It gonna help the in lowering the serum calcium. Now the question arises, how, ma'am, it gonna lower the calcium? Because what it does, the calcium, it the calcitonin help in lowering the serum calcium. Serum, when I'm saying serum calcium, means the amount of calcium in blood. Yes, how it gonna lower? The bones gonna reabsorb the calcium into it, and ultimately what will happen in the bloodstream, the calcium level will be reduced. Next is parathyroid. In short form, we usually write it PTH. So parathyroid gland releases parathyroid hormone, and it is basically the opposite of calcitonin. What calcitonin was doing? Calcitonin was reducing the serum calcium by reabsorbing the calcium into the bonds. Here, what will happen? It gonna increase the serum level of calcium. So it is basically the opposite of calcitonin. Got it? Next one is adrenal cortex, adrenal hormone. Sorry, adrenal gland. Yes, so till now we have talked about hypothalamus, headmaster gland, pituitary, master gland, thyroid, parathyroid. Now we are talking about adrenal gland. So the way we have talked about the pituitary, anterior and posterior. Yeah, with this I remember one thing. Sometimes We call this anterior pituitary as adenohypophysis. Adenohypophysis. And the posterior part is neurohypophysis. So don't worry and don't get scared of these terms. Whenever you're going to see these terms in your question, don't worry about it. They are talking about pituitary gland, adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. Got it? Next is adrenal gland. So likewise, we're going to talk about adrenal cortex. C for cortex, C for capsule. So the outer portion. For example, if this is the adrenal gland, the outer portion is adrenal cortex. C for cortex, C for capsule. So C for cortex, C for capsule, it gonna release cortisol. It gonna release cortisol, aldosterone, and some androgens. Yes, cortisols. If we're gonna talk about cortisol, what are cortisols? Glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids. So these are cortisols. Again, I'm saying don't get scared of these terms. Later on, when we're gonna discuss a gland in a particular way, you're gonna remember it. So what is the like function? So likewise, if we're going to talk about aldosterone, yes, aldosterone hormone. So aldosterone hormone is one of the hormone that basically maintain the balance between sodium, water and potassium. Sodium, water and potassium. Ma'am, how? It gonna retain sodium and water. It gonna excrete potassium. Aldosterone, it gonna retain sodium and water. It gonna release potassium. Yes. Next, we're gonna talk about adrenal medulla. This is adrenal cortex. This is adrenal medulla, the middle part. Likewise, you can remember. So the adrenal medulla secretes two hormones, epinephrine and norepinephrine. And the function of epinephrine and norepinephrine is flight or fight response. Flight or fight response. Yes. The last one is pancreas, which is very, very important from NCLEX point of view. Pancreas, it secretes insulin and glucagon. Insulin and glucagon. These are two friends, insulin and glucagon. This always goes together into the bloodstream. Insulin and glucagon. How this gonna function in your bloodstream, that we're gonna talk about when we'll talk about the pancreas later on. Yes. So likewise the function in the insulin lowers the glucose. The insulin lowers the glucose, and as the name suggests, glucagon. If you're gonna give or administer glucagon, what will happen? The glucose level will increase. Yes. Now, the most important thing, NCLEX core concept, if we're going to talk about negative feedback. Low target hormone usually, see, negative feedback means if sometimes what will happen, just read it first, then we're going to get it. Okay. For example, low thyroid hormone leads to more TSH stimulation. Like how it is working when you are, going upstairs, what will happen? You're gonna go to upstairs and then you go, sorry, when you are coming downstairs, what will happen? You're gonna start from the first step, then second, then third, then the last one. Yes. So likewise, hypothalamus, pituitary and so on. But what will happen? For example, they have given in negative feedback. For example, if the thyroid hormone T3 T4 will be reduced, it gonna go upward in a upward direction, and T3 T4 reduce amount gonna somewhere tell our headmaster, sorry, pituitary gland, what? That we don't have thyroid hormone. So what will happen? The TSH will be activated. The TSH will be activated. What TSH will do? TSH gonna push the thyroid to release T3, T4. So the TSH level will be increased. See? On contrary, like vice versa, we can talk about, for example, if T3, T4 are more, yes, there is excess of T3 and T4 in your bloodstream, what will happen? It gonna suppress the TSH. It gonna suppress the TSH. That please, pituitary, don't force us to release more hormone because we are already in excess. Yes. So T3, T4 in lower, sorry, in very large amount or excess amount. So what will happen? TSH will be reduced. So this is negative feedback. This is negative feedback. So whenever in question they are asking about it, just see and make a chain. What is happening? What is happening to T3, T4? Oh, T3, T4 is low. And what is happening to TSH? Oh, TSH is increased. So somewhere, what is happening? Hypothyroidism is there. Yes? So this is negative feedback. Negative feedback. So this is basically, I have shown some fast relationship to memorize. Like insulin lowers the blood glucose, calcitonin lowers the serum calcium, ADH retains free water, and raises glucagon raises blood glucose, PTH raises serum calcium, aldosterone retains sodium and water, and excrete potassium. So from NCLEX priority lens, we can say when an endocrine question feels complicated, first identify the hormone excess or deficit, then ask what happens to fluid balance. What is happening to sodium, potassium, calcium, glucose, heart rate, blood pressure, or mental status? Later on we're going to talk about the somewhere we need to give priority to seizures. Yes, somewhere we're gonna see the calcium level. Yes, so you need to make a relationship between the things. Then only you will be able to crack the NCLEX question very easily. It's not that much difficult, but yes, you must to have a critical thinking about it. That's it. You need to have a critical thinking. Yes, this is all about the introduction part to the endocrine glands. Now we're going to talk about some diagnostic test. So these are the diagnostic test. See, first one is TSH. TSH is thyroid stimulating hormone. Thyroid stimulating hormone. So it is basically a signal to the thyroid. Yes. So often the first thyroid blood test, this is the first thyroid blood test we used to do for the patients, and we interpret with free T4. Next is free T4 and T3. In this, we're gonna see how thyroid gland is working. In TSH, we are seeing how, like we are interpreting with free T4. Obviously, we're gonna relate T3, T4, and TSH. So for the relation, we need to see or we need to interpret with each other. Primary hypothyroidism. What is primary hypothyroidism? In primary hypothyroidism, the TSH goes up. The TSH goes up. Hypothyroidism means the thyroid hormone is low. So T4 is low. Yes. Then what will happen? TSH will be increased. Yes. Next, hyperthyroidism. What will happen in hyperthyroidism? Hyper, increase. Thyroidism, the thyroid gland. So thyroid hormone. So if the thyroid hormone will increase, what will happen? It gonna say to pituitary, please don't force me to release more hormone now. I'm already in excess. Next, thyroid scan. We used to do thyroid scan because only then we gonna come to know whether the patient is having thyroid nodules or not. Fine needle aspiration. Why we need to see? Because of any tumor or any kind of protrusion is there. And the basic important thing is in this, in the post-operative, post-procedure. After procedure care is very important because we need to see, watch the neck for bleeding or swelling. And the most important thing is airway symptoms are urgent. And this is basically the priority whenever the person is undergoing for fine needle aspiration. Next is HbA1c. That is basically done for the glucose level, to check the glucose level. It is not basically it is not checking the current bedside glucose. No, it's gonna check the long term trend. And how long? 2-3 months, or you can say 90 days. Yes. Next, serum urine osmolality. Now, ma'am, I don't know the meaning of osmolality. What is it? Urine osmolality or serum osmolality. See, you just remember the meaning of osmolality. Osmolality means how concentrated the thing is. and how the thing will be concentrated when you're going to put something in more amount and the water quantity is less. Yes, then only the osmolality will be increased. Yes, for example, you have a glass and in that glass you pour 20 uh, gram of sodium and 1 liter of water. 20 gram of sodium, 1 liter of water. 20 gram sodium and 1 liter of water. And in another glass, 20 gram of sodium, but 500 ml means half liter water. So which one is more concentrated? Obviously, ma'am, in which the water is less, in which the dilution is less. That will be more concentrated. Or in other words, we can say more osmolality will be there. So the glass having 20 gram of sodium plus half liter of water will be having high osmolality. So if you are saying serum osmolality means we are talking about blood concentration. If we are talking about urine osmolality, we are talking about urine. Yes. So why we are doing it? To see the water concentration. Yes. Next, very useful for diabetes insipidus and SIADH. Ma'am, what are these terms? Don't worry. Later on, we're going to come to know about these two. Yes. Next is thyroid lab pattern. Thyroid lab pattern, we have talked about it. It's very easy now for you to understand. Primary hypothyroidism, primary hyperthyroidism. Ma'am, hypothyroidism, hypo, reduce. T3, T4, reduce. TSH, increase. Yes. On contrary, the opposite thing is hyperthyroidism. Next is radioactive, iodine radioactive. Verify pregnancy, the most important thing. Don't ever ask, are you married or are you not married or something? No, it's not necessary in, foreign countries. Yes, verify pregnancy status. So in this, what we are doing, we are introducing a contrast iodine exposure, and we are just evaluating the person accordingly. Yes. And what is the post procedure watch? The most important thing is you need to watch, or you need to give more and more water so that after the procedure the person gonna excrete out the radioactive thing. Yes. See, next is fine needle aspiration. We have written over here, after thyroid fine needle aspiration, monitor the puncture site and neck, rapid swelling, stridor voice, or why we are saying stridor voice or something like this, because larynx is there, breathing difficulty, airway emergency. This is very important from NCLEX point of view. Now we're going to talk about a question trap. HbA1c is not a right now glucose test. It is about 2 to 3 months or 90 days. Yes, so our normal bedside glucose does not erase months of poor control, and one high bedside value does not define the long-term trend. Yes. So these are all about the anatomy and physiology and the introductory part. Yes. So in the next class, we're going to talk about the first gland pituitary disorders. And see, in every disorder, we're going to talk about like this. See, I have made a chart. So see, we're going to have two conditions or three conditions sometimes you can say. Yes. First one is either the hormone will be in less amount. So what's that condition is known as? Either or the the hormone released by the gland is in excess amount. So what is that term? Reduced or excess. Two things are there. And the third one I'm talking, when it is in extreme kind of thing. Extremely it is reduced. What will happen? Extremely it is increased. What will happen? Yes, like thyroid. In thyroid, reduced hypothyroidism, increased hyperthyroidism. Yes, next two terms, thyroid storm and myxedema coma. Extreme low, myxedema coma. Extreme high, thyroid storm. So these all are things we're gonna talk about in next class. And basically when you have increased amount of any hormone, so what we can do, either we can do a surgery, not either, In fact, we are doing surgery for that. Yes, we're gonna remove the hormone gland. And if you have like if we have reduced amount of hormone, what we gonna give? We're gonna give hormone. Hormone only can replace it. So medication gonna be administered. Yes. So likewise, we're going to talk about all the disorders and what happened in this. So it is very interesting. Don't take it as as a thing. Just make a story, like a story. Okay, like what we talk about in today's class: the anatomy and physiology, the headmaster, then master gland, then adrenal gland, then adrenal cortex, adrenal medulla, and then parathyroid. Yes. So likewise, we're gonna learn and we're gonna clear NCLEX exam for sure. Don't doubt yourself. Just keep doing hard work. Keep doing hard work and hard work and hard work. Don't stop yourself. So many times in between, you're gonna doubt yourself. You're gonna stop, studying. You're gonna be pissed off like what I'm doing. I'm not understanding anything. Don't worry. Just read it and keep everything in your mind and lock it. Yes? Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope you understand the today's class. Thank you so much and have a great day.